Because let me here start by asking you, how do you interpret Starmer's decision to recognize Palestine at this moment, more as a diplomatic signal or a political survival move?
Well, as you mentioned, there are now a starvation crisis in Gaza, and there is that humanitarian crisis which has to be addressed. But that is not the only crisis that Gaza faces. There is the actual Gaza situation crisis. There is the two-state solution problem, which is very difficult to solve. And also, as you mentioned, is the recognition of the Palestinian statehood, which then, how do you do that in a way that is effective? But going back to the first one, the starvation crisis, as you mentioned, now the truckloads are coming from Egypt, which is fantastic. But realistically, as we hear from UN, you need 500 to 1,000 trucks per day. And that is about $60 million of cost, at least $60 million. There are 2 million people in Gaza. To feed them at $3 per head per day, that's 60 million, which is minimum. Some people say it's double that. It has to be 120 million per head per day.
So if the UN said those reports, why the international community at large is not moving? Why Egypt only is the one who's moving?
Well, that's another issue. I was getting to the cost of it, and the Europeans, whether they are prepared, as you said, instead of sitting in air-conditioned rooms, actually get on the ground and pay for the cost of this food crisis in Gaza, which President Trump said U.S. is the only one who has contributed $60 million. But even that is not enough. You need $60 million per day. So our Europeans are prepared to do that. That's a main issue. So I would say the recognition by Keir Starmer of Palestinian statehood, it's very much symbolic with so many conditions that it's very difficult to achieve. And perhaps, and in a way, I'm sure, he's pandering to the vote of Muslim communities in Britain rather than attempting to have a serious solution to the starvation crisis in Gaza.
Right. As you said, respectively, that the UK previously conditioned recognition on a peace deal. Now it's essentially warning to Israel. What are the strategic risks of this pivot?
Well, thank you for that question. You're right. It is not conditions anymore. It's now threat to Israel. So the question is, how is the British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, follow out that threat if Israeli take no effect of that? Is he going to declare war on Israel now? This is the natural follow-up to a threat. If it's not done, it'll be sanctions, and later on, declaring war on Israel. I think...
Do you really think that the British government would go to that extent?
I'm just saying, when a policy, it is not thought through properly, that's what you will end up. Nobody would take it seriously. You can't just, again, I go back to what you said, sitting in air-conditioned rooms and making statements. You have to be on the ground and actually prepared to pay the cost of resolution. Conflict resolution has a huge cost. Unless you are prepared to pay for it, both financially, emotionally, and actually getting involved in it physically, there is no point just to making statements.
But Israel has responded with fury, the US with indifference. Has Britain truly lost its leverage in the Middle East?
It's not only Britain, it's the whole Europe. The Europe has lost its grip on geopolitics. It's been for a long time. Since the collapse of Soviet Union, they have lost their purpose. The only thing they concentrated on for a while was globalization, but they never got involved in conflict resolution anywhere in the world. As we see recently, they were never involved in Thailand and Cambodia, Rwanda, Congo, Gaza, and they can't even resolve a European war, the Ukraine war themselves. So they've really lost the grip or the expertise in geopolitics handling.
Now, some argue that this move rewards Hamas or weakens Israel's security. Others say it acknowledges Palestinian suffering. How do you see that moral tension?
Well, in my opinion, Hamas is a terrorist organization backed by Iran regime, and Iran regime is the source of all the terrorism, mayhem, conflicts, disasters in the Middle East. That's what I see. And the sooner the Palestinians in Gaza distance themselves from Iran regime, and Gaza is better for them. And I know majority of them want to do that. But then when a gangster regime gets hold of a nation or a location, it's very difficult to get rid of them. So they need outside help. And that's why we need to help the people of Gaza to get rid of this gangster regime.
You mean they can unite with into a Palestinian body, a whole Palestinian body?
Who? You mean the Hamas or the Palestinians or the
Hamas? Hamas, if it joins the Palestinian authority or the Palestinian body, then it would be better for the nation, for the Palestinian nation, right?
Well, Hamas knows nothing but holding arms, holding a gun. They know nothing but that. They are not about economic development.
Right.
And if you think.
Right. Let me here go to Mr. Sama again. And Mr. Sama faces mounting international pressure from the left, especially with the Corbyn and Sultana launching this new party. Now, could this recognition stem party implosion?
Is it question to me? Is this to me?
Yes, definitely.
Yes, yes. Well, if you look at it, we've had in Europe lots of Muslim migration in the last 40 years. And the left of politics in Europe, people like Jeremy Corbyn, which is far left of politics, or Green parties, have been a great host to the Muslim communities. Now, let me give you an example. The Muslim community in the United Kingdom is about 4 million people. And 90% of them are very productive, very peaceful, very nice people. There is that about 100,000, which makes about 5% of the whole Muslim community. They are radicalized. And these are the people who actually cause all the problems and give bad names to the Muslims. So, and the left of politics have been a host to them under the banner of being anti-American, because left of politics by nature is anti-American, and anybody who is anti-American, they would host them, they would give them platform. And that's what has been the left of politics in Europe has been a great platform for the extremist Islamists in politics.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there any realistic hope that this UK move could revive peace efforts or influence American policy?
Right now, there's a drift between Europe and US, which is not helpful. And again, I go back. Europe is a great continent. It's a cradle of modern civilization. It has lots of engineering, lots of financial abilities. But do they want to seriously get involved in resolving conflicts? And are they prepared to pay the cost of it? And I say no, they're not prepared. They're not even prepared to pay for the cost of Ukraine war. They're only recently they are starting to pay for the full cost of the Ukraine war. Previous to that, they were pushing the Americans to pay for most of the cost.
Right. Other reports, like the one of the Financial Times, notes that this may be a symbolic gesture with no practical impact in a region ruled by facts on the ground. Does symbolism still matter?
Symbolism is good. It gives you good feeling. but then it lasts 48 hours, 72 hours, and definitely not after a month. So you need concrete solution. And I again go back to we need economic development plans, serious economic development plans for Gaza. And I've mentioned that before. I think the Palestinian diaspora, who are very successful, can play a major role in economic development of Gaza. But I don't hear anything from them anywhere.
Thank you, Mr. Emamian, for your valuable insights. And back to our episode. As Britain plays its diplomatic card, the real cost may lie not in geopolitics, but in the unraveling of domestic consensus and the widening chasm between Western capitals and Tel Aviv. While Britain debates recognition and moral symbolism, Gaza bleeds. Starvation is not a metaphor, it's real. It's spreading, and it's killing. At aid trucks in hospital corridors and in the arms of mothers with no milk to give. And still, Egypt delivers.